the homeowner knows already.
Yes, right.
Okay.
So hire contractor B because he's worked for me, and and I'll make sure that I'll give him the 75,000 you gave me so it can go towards your project. So she signs a new contract with contractor B, doesn't find out till much later that the 75,000 never made it to contractor B. But it seemed the contractor B was willing to work around that. Like it was a different contractor, a contractor C name was on the new the documentation she signed to transfer the permit. And
And
so
it
now is
wasn't.
it
So now
yep.
she has a
So
contract
contractor
with C, but is talking to B.
so she only has a contract with B. B is unlicensed, as it turns out. So contractor B is unlicensed, and that's who her new contract is with. She doesn't even know who contractor C is, and she's dealing only with contractor B. Things we can, we have some of our own ideas that we think will be great for your property, if you're willing to spend another, 70, $80,000 on top of the money you're already willing to spend. And she was convinced so that, okay, yeah, let's try some of this. And that would require a redesign. So and she had moved out of the house because it was going to be an entire home renovation anyway. Knew it was something she wasn't going to want to live through, and it would be easier for certainly if it was an empty home for the contractor to do the work they had to do. So she had already she had already moved out of the house. She'd already had her stuff in storage. She was already living elsewhere.
This isn't the first time we've seen contractor A and
Right.
Correct.
Correct. We've seen
And I
contractor A
learned,
before.
yeah, and I learned sitting next to contractor C that contractor C had dealt with contractor A on other projects well, A and B.
Mhm.
But contractor C was making themselves out to be the rescuer,
Mhm.
really trying to play the sympathy card where my hair went on fire in my last video that I took from the car was they had asked me, well, maybe it was really a big deal that maybe I had higher standards than the electrician that was on that property. And that's when my hair went on fire. I'm like, wait a minute, you mean like life safety? Like I didn't realize like life safety was like a good contractor doesn't mind about like maybe having some kid get electrocuted. Like
As a lawyer, there's generally two sides to every story. There's three sides to every story, right?
Got the permit. Remember, it was a renovation permit. And we had to change that to there was no demo permit. They were completely not allowed to take that house down. And what we did, my firm did, is we came in and we took their name off the permits and got a new permit put in place. We did that. And the own attorney said, my client changed the permits. The permits are in his name. What do you want to do about them? And in the meeting, Andy, we were like, we really don't need you anymore. You're off the team. And
Yeah.
and that was for me, not doing this every day. I was like, awkward. That's really that's really you. I have a redacted version of the invoice that our client, independent clients, you're representing them in the law fair, and I am now helping them as their owner's rep, go from an invisible house to hopefully one day a house. And I had asked the homeowner, I said, hey, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? And she said, oh, that's easy. I'll send it to you. And I want to share with you what she sent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. This is an invoice, a letter that she got. There's no license number. I redacted the logo of the company and the name of the company. There's no address. There's no license. Andy, doesn't every single document that a licensed contractor have to include their license?
Yes, that's required of the statutes. Absolutely.
My
Yeah,
statutes.
it's unfortunately not unusual to have documents like this floating around with no license number on it whatsoever. Contract with no license number on it. It's too bad that we have to deal with stuff like this in the state of Florida.
Right.
But
Listen, I just wanted to show this whole document. I'm going to zoom in so everybody can that's at home can read this. So if you look at this thing, upfront into production first payment would be $101,209. Oh, but they
Mhm.
broke it up and said, no, only give us $25,000 for signing and engineering and $76,209 for metal. That's it.
Right.
That's a really great description. Oh, would you pay $76,000 for metal? Like
Yeah.
metal what? Metal what?
76209. It's a very specific amount of metal.
Yeah, I
Yes.
got a bag of bolts from a big box store.
As a
And she's
result.
already out $75,000 to the first
Right.
contractor, and now
Right.
these new folks want
Yeah.
$224,944, and there's no work. Oh yes, they did demolish her house by this point. Her entire house is gone, but I guess
Yes.
there were payments made
Yes.
for that already. I mean, anyway, look, the point of this thing is this is such a test case of what not to do. There's so many red flags here. We can. Do you have anything more that jumps
Right.
out?
Yeah, I love the last paragraph when they talk about how much time this job is going to take, right? If all the stars and planets align, you could possibly in your well, there's a typo too. You could possibly be in your new home with your cats in July or August.
Yeah, what year?
Right? If all the
July,
planets
August.
and stars align, I didn't realize that was a condition to performance under a construction contract.
Listen to me. This was dated March 5th. There is
Yeah.
nothing, just so everybody knows. Like I was on site on there. There was nothing. There was a slab. There was no
Yeah.
power. They disconnect the power. You had a live wire on the ground. And you're going to go from March in July of August to build a whole new home? No freaking way. No freaking way. They didn't even have permits. I'm lucky to get
Yeah.
permits. My hair's on fire. My hair's already on fire. All right. So, Andy, I want to we'll make this quick. I want to show
Yeah.
you what we do, what we recommend the payment schedule should look like. Now, Andy, you've never seen
Yes.
this before, so this will be fun. And listen, I just want to know, my license number is not on this thing. This is just a working document. This is not something that goes to my customers. I
Mhm.
probably should do that, but insert disclaimer here. This is just for this is a teaching tool, an education tool. So what we do is, and this is just, I just made up a project, $358,000 project, and we have about, I think, 24 benchmarks. Okay, deposit to schedule, blah 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 blah, and you'll notice real quick that it's a bell curve.
Yes.
It's to represent a bell curve. And what we tell our clients is, listen, you're going to be out of pocket in the beginning, $2,500. That's the deposit. And at the end of the project, I'm going to be out of pocket a similar amount. In this case, it's a little bit more, $2,848. And I don't want to do anything that is one sided. To me, that is just bad business. It should be, if I'm asking for a deposit up front, I should be willing to withhold the last amount. And I'm not a bank, and I don't expect the homeowners to pay for things that they don't have. That's unreasonable. And one of the things that we do, and I'm just going to make this quick, is with General Lumber ordered, we show the receipts. We show them that, hey, we ordered, here's the receipt for $4,000 worth of lumber or $6,000 worth of lumber. Here's the ticket for the windows. So we're backing it up. I'm not saying take my word for
Right.
it.
Right.
Typo, it's delivered, not delivered, whatever, I spelled them wrong.
Mhm.
So look, this invoice, they're going to see a dumpster on the property. They're going to see the backhoe on the property for this benchmark. Now, here's the important part. This is where every builder I talk to, because I give this speech or this talk to builders, is builders go, well, I don't have the back office. I can't send out 24 invoices. No, neither do we. Invoices are separate from benchmarks, but benchmarks that is the, Andy, why don't you explain that? Explain what a difference between a
Sure.
benchmark and an invoice is.
Yeah, I mean, so benchmarks, you might hear the term milestones. I mean, these are sort of, when you hit a certain, when something has been done, what you've done here is you've broken down the project sequentially and into manageable bites, right? That it makes it a little easier for an owner to understand, how the job is progressing and sequencing, and associated with each of those things is a certain dollar value that is agreed between you and the owner up front. So there's no question that when something is done, something that's verifiable and observable by the owner, they will see, okay, here is where, Coppola Brothers has earned, this payment. Doesn't mean that that the second the windows are ordered, they receive an invoice for that and your hand is out for the 5,000, but you invoice at more predictable intervals, right? Maybe on a monthly basis, that would be an example, right? Where you're sending
Right.
an invoice to them for the things, for the benchmarks that have been accomplished over
A
the
hundred
course of that.
percent. So we
So
might
that way
invoice.
there's not 24 payments coming to you. There's many less. Maybe it's 8 or 9, depending on how long the job takes. But it's ultimately going to cover all of that. But you're just agreeing on what the value is for hitting each of these benchmarks along the way.
And the reason that I like this, I mean, I am all about win-win scenarios. The reason I
Yeah.
like this is at the end of the project. At the end of the project, everybody gets to feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Okay, we're done painting after plumbing fixtures installed. It just as you said, it's verifiable. And
Yeah.
if there's a problem, if it's like the problem is usually just job
Hmm.
fatigue, and people are worried, are they going to finish or not? Well, it's fine. You can then, usually what we do is in the beginning, the payments are grouped. I might not invoice, the first, all of these might get invoiced at the same time. And depending on how the job is going, I might invoice a bunch of these, but at the end, like depending on how it goes. And I tell this to the homeowners. I go, if you're uncomfortable, that's fine. If you want me to invoice you for each benchmark, I have no problem doing it. I want you to feel comfortable. And I think that's the
Right.
last piece. It cuts both ways. Like I don't have to be a bank,
Yes.
and you
Right.
don't have to, like, you're never going to hear me say, well, just trust me or take my word for granted. It's like, you
Right.
want 24 invoices? No problem.